Hello and welcome back to my RP-1 playthrough on hard. So in the last episode we flew a suborbital, I think. We definitely launched ComSat. And we also finished designing the first thing to make it into orbit and return. So that's what's currently building. And I'm trying to decide whether I want to rush it some. And I think I do. Because I want to start building the first large launch vehicle such that it can come online soon after that pad is ready. So we spent a hair over $10 million and we rushed it by about 18%. Now it's only been 47 days, so we got to wait a little longer before we can fly a suborbital again. Or we could do this now. Or I could wait and see if this regenerates something with a higher altitude. 15,600. Let's see if it gives me more money if it's higher. Okay. Let's see what we get. Yeah. So, all right, we're not reaching 190 kilometers, but we'll reach close to it. Oh, it regenerated with the exact same altitude. I think actually we might have gotten to 190 before, but maybe not. I don't want to risk it. It expires 5 p.m. UTC. Okay. All right, that we can do. If we fly a decent descent. So let's get another chunk of change, and I'm gonna I guess yeah, it's almost always a bad idea to rush, unless you're speedrunning. How expensive is this? Oh, that's pretty expensive. How expensive is this? Oh, it's only $250. And it's plus 25% research rate. That's interesting. Might actually want to do that. Because that's 0.0265 points. Yeah, which is the equivalent of 13 upgrades. Okay, so we are at the point where it is now, we now no longer want to invest any more R&D points. It is now cheaper to do this upgrade and get the plus 25% research rate. The downside is that it will take a while to build. For the VAB, it's not immediately clear. 25% build rate, not as good because our build rate is lower. Like the conversion is different. But the second build queue is what actually means a lot. So, we'll see. So the real question is, can I reliably perform lunar impacts and orbits? In the next 1 year and 8 months. I think it's safe to do this. I hope I'm not making a similar mistake to when I did the thing. So let me quickly check something. So what I want to check is, roughly speaking, how expensive will it be? And you are ludicrously expensive. Yes, yes you are. Okay, so we're going to need to chuck an orbiter stage and an impactor stage. Hi, Dark Helmet. Welcome. So, LR91. Okay. So, figure out how much of an upper stage to include. Can probably afford to overburn it a little bit because it's a reliable pump-fed engine. But I don't think we can overburn it that much. So the rated burn time is 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So let's do 3 minutes. Crud. I can't reach that thing. Well, it's fine. I just need to roughly cost this out. Okay. Okay, so gotta underfuel this. Not looking great. That's almost enough delta V, but not quite. But we might have an engine upgrade out of this, which will help. Yeah, that might be enough. Might not be, though. We'll fiddle with it later. The point is to get a rough estimate of costs. And rough estimate of costs says, cool, I was hoping it would be about 120 days. It is, in fact, 120 days. It's actually less than 120 days. Right, awesome, cool, excellent. So I can afford to take those contracts. And start R&D upgrading. Well, that's a bunch of money. Start that upgrading. That'll come online in a year. And so we want to keep about 200K, a little over 200K in the bank, even though we're soon about to get more money. So let's do that much. And increase our build rate a little bit. All right. And you know what? I'm going to do that one more time because I know that we will soon have another contract. So how long until Glenn is ready to go? 29th, 2 days. Okay. Dawn of the final day. That's a nice bright morning. Let's fly. Air launch. Glen Wells, going into space. Gear up. Let's build up some more dynamic pressure. Okay. 24 kilopascals. Let's do a pretty gentle ascent. Come on.
More plane time, huh?
Yep, more plane time. Well, technically it's a crude suborbital rather than an X-plane's high, but, you know, same kind of thing.
Makes sense. So did you decide to change that experiment?
I haven't changed the experiment. Yeah, you proved that it's possible to do in the same way that supersonic, the mission is 3 minutes, but the flight is longer. So I guess it's probably fine to. I mean, we'll see exactly how many minutes I get this time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good if there's experiments out there that don't just come by default, just by doing all the contracts.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. I mean, in fairness, like basically all of the uncrewed experiments are that, except for, I guess, for scientific satellite and the Geiger counter. This was not as good an ascent as before. steering losses are going to be way worse.
Also, the photography ones you kind of have to aim for.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Basically, all the experiments, except for the biocapsule, the first biocapsule, and except for the Geiger counter, the first Geiger counter, all of them you have to do yourself.
Well, not that you have.
Oh right.
So
I see what you mean. Like
connecting.
if you do like first solar powered satellite, then of course you just stick a bunch of experiments on it and it's entirely
Yeah,
paid
yeah.
for. Rather than this might not be entirely paid for.
Yeah, exactly. The actual missions that you separately plan just to do experiments with.
Yeah.
What's your target for this one?
170. So yeah, it's going to be fine.
Okay.
Oh man, I could have broken 200. I think there's probably... Oh, 180 might be the last altitude record. I don't remember. Maybe 200's an altitude record.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Conveniently, we can find out. 200 is an altitude record. Well, that sucks.
Almost.
198.656. Yeah, we'll get it next time. Oh no, we're getting too close. I was gonna try to flip inverted and apply some RCS and like inch over, but we won't get 1.5 kilometers out of apogee just from doing it right now.
No.
Oh, I'm a doofus. We could get crew reports from different biomes.
Yeah, Squirrel Patrol, I kind of agree with you. I like, even if they're not a lot of science, they're nice to have little.
There's like 8 odd crew science options, I think, on the first capsule. There's a bunch.
He's talking about early orbital, so I'm assuming he's talking about pre-manned orbital.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. Angular cut. So we're doing a human spaceflight suborbital mission with an X-plane. Just missed 200 kilometers because I didn't realize that there was one more altitude record. Squirrel, okay, yeah, with capsules, then 2 flights each, but the capsule only has 1 slot, and there's like 5 or 6 experiments. Like at least the Mercury capsule. So I'm sort of confused what's going on there. Rudolph, so that mod is Real Solar System, but this is the full Real Solar System and Realism Overhaul and RP-1 suite of mods that converts just about everything. Yeah, Squirrel, I'm not sure how you managed to do that in 2 flights each. Soyuz has 3 slots. That would explain. Yeah, I think Gemini does not have 3 slots. Maybe it does. I don't know. It may just be that I'm forgetting the number of slots versus the number of experiments.
Maybe we should limit the sample size so you have to do what you do with the...
I mean, I think that's true for some of them. Maybe. Well, so, like, a bunch of them are biome specific, I thought. So, like, effectively, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not up to date with the latest changes.
Okay. Re-entry. What do you mean by remastered? I'm confused. Whoa, what's going on here?
Had something weird like that happen last time too, didn't you?
That was because I was at high alpha. Yeah, this time I'm not at high alpha. So I don't really get it. Yeah, Squirrel has hooked you up with a link. And yeah, I do have a HOTUS. I've just never bothered to set it up with this machine yet. Because atmospheric autopilot and mouse aim flight do 99% of what I want to do. All right, so let's minimize alpha so we stay above the velocity requirement. I guess we have a little bit of breathing room now. We finished high altitude flight. I guess we can switch over to hypersonic flight now. Although I wonder if hypersonic flight is below 40 kilometers.
I thought it was above 40 kilometers.
Oh, okay. Then cool, because I will not be going hypersonic below 40, that's for sure. Like, I like my pilots to not be crispy critters.
You don't get much time hypersonic with the sort of trajectories you fly.
I mean, at that point, I'll just be launching this thing for science.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I think I'll have gone through most of the X-Planes High contracts that are on offer.
I mean, it certainly is a game changer over playing with keyboard, Rudolph, but mouse aim flight gives you pretty good flight controls. mean, it's not like you're dogfighting in these things.
I mean, not without dark multiplayer and BDR memory.
Yeah. There's one called Mouse Aim Flight, which does what it says on the tin, essentially, and there's one called Atmospheric Autopilot that will get installed when you, by default, when you use that link Squirrel Patrol gave you. That does,
Yeah, this is Mouse Aim Flight. So it does stuff like this. It's basically Ferrum and Tetrids really like the War Thunder control scheme, so they wrote it for Kerbal. And as you would expect from something from Ferrum, it's good. But sadly, it's not on CCAN. It's one of the few things that's not on CCAN. Yeah, it's essentially removed. So the one thing that it does not do that I wish I had something that did, which I would actually get my stick and throttle and rudder pedals out for, is it will not let me do crazy things like roll an adverse rudder to dump speed. Like, you can't really do that with Mouse Aim Flight, because once you override the control inputs, it's like, okay, well, I guess I shouldn't be controlling it anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's the correct choice for UX, but that is a thing that it would be good to have stick and rudder pedals for. Don't actually need throttle, because rocket planes, you're either firing the rockets or you're not, generally.
I think I've ever actually seen you fly crossed up to bleed speed, though. You usually porpoise or use speed brakes.
I mean, it's because I don't have my stick on.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it with a keyboard.
Don't want to do it with a keyboard. That sounds dangerous. No, back when I had my HOTAS set up, I would do that all the time on approach. Occasionally to my detriment, but I would do it all the time. Okay, now it definitely looks like an F-101 from behind. Which is fine, because McDonnell basically never built an ugly airplane, with the plausible exception of the F-4, but it makes up for it in brute force.
Like the F4.
I mean, the F-3H is a better looking F-4. The F-3H was a good looking plane.
Wish we had robotics in RP-1, then I could have turned that plane that I sent you screenshots of into a real XB-70.
Yeah, with the compression lift stuff. I don't know if FAR probably models compression lift. I don't know whether it does.
I really doubt it does.
It's the sort of kooky thing that Ferrum would model.
Really? That seems like it edges into CFD territory.
Yeah, but he has a large bag of tricks.
Okay.
Alright, so I guess we've got to bleed off some pressure so we can pop the brakes so we can dive again. Alright. Yeah, these speed brakes are super effective. Kind of want to half deploy them.
Blade limit should be tied to an axis group if you wanted to use that.
Yeah, not really worth it. I can just PWM it.
Sure.
Guess we'll just touch down with full brakes deployed. Why not? Why not? Why not indeed? All
I
right.
mean, no reason not
Flaps
to
are
for
back.
you, but usually aircraft don't want to do that to not
I mean, yes.
destroy their wheels or slam their nose gear.
Yes. That is true. That is very true. All right, we're now at 15 out of 15. Sounds good. Let's recover it. Edit it. Hypersonic flight requires 1.6 km/sec in flying high. Okay, sure. 40 minutes of that. That's going to be fun. That one seems hard.
Yep. I think that plane I built would do like 5 or 6 minutes of it. Not as good as just high alt, but
Yeah.
still doable. Oh no, wait, I would have to swap out the cockpit too and rejigger it slightly for the COM.
Wait, you have to swap out the cockpit? Isn't it going to be the same cockpit either way?
No, the high altitude one I was just using the X2 cockpit.
Oh, right. Okay, then yeah, you'll get worse performance because that'll crater your delta V a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now we're back above 200K. That's good. So, I guess we should start building our lunar probes.
gonna stick around too long. I'm gonna bail. But good to see you again.
See you. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, this is going to be a chonker of a lunar orbiter. That's 40 kilograms already. So now we need solar panels. Oh, got to turn all the experiments on. Yeah, so it has 1 day of batteries, which is good. Comms. Com 16. Fairly important. Antenna planning. Plan against the DSN. UHF. $400. Okay, we can get rid of that antenna though. What is our data rate? Our data rate is 0.3 plus 1 plus 0.04 plus 0.3. 1.64 is 13 bits a second. Hoo boy. So, yeah. We're not going to be able to transmit that as it comes in. We're going to build up a backlog of data. That's pretty clear. So basically, we're going to have to go with experiments that are less data hungry. In particular, no magnetometer. You're gone. Mass spectrometer is probably fine. Because it doesn't build up very much data at all. Only runs for 2 hours. All right, so now we're down to a little over 5 bits per second, and that's still too much. So let's try to figure out what experiments are most valuable. So that's 10 science for a run. That's 6 science for a run. Okay, so mass spectrometry is really a good bargain. So that is not a good deal. So this is 3/4 of the science and 1/4 of the data. Pretty good deal. Early TV camera is a really good deal. Okay. So yeah, so if we can transmit at 2 bits a second, that's pretty good. That's probably too much for our poor solar panels to handle, because it's 52 watts. But really need a DSN upgrade for this to be more viable. Yeah, now we only need 26 watts. All right, so it's consuming 31 watts, and if we change that, it's 33 watts. So yeah, it's not meaningfully making a difference. Well, that's not great. We'll do it like this then. Okay. So squirrel, I do not recommend trying to do the N1L3 complex. Um, so do you have any high energy stages? RD-58 is not a high-energy engine. It's a Kerolox engine. I'm talking about a high-energy engine, like something running Hydrolox. Yeah, so in that case, you're probably going to want to do some EOR thing, launching a bunch of protons, or just accept that you will build a launch vehicle that masses about 4,000 tons. I mean, you could do LOR, and that you could probably get away with two like 1,800-ton launch vehicles. But yeah, the issue with N1 was that it was heavier than the Saturn V, but it had only about 2/3 of the TLI capability. Had about the same payload to low Earth orbit, but it had only about 2/3 the TLI capability. If you only have the 1,500-ton pad, then congratulations, you're doing EOR. You're sending up a bunch of launches at about 40 tons a pop and building yourself a... which RSS textures do I recommend? Whatever you have the graphics horsepower and the RAM for. I mean, I obviously recommend the best ones you can run. Okay, so I think I want to launch... given this is going to be spin stabilized, well, that's depressing. 3 months in and we're down to only 75% effectiveness. No, 4 months in. Squirrel, presumably that's far voxelizing things? That, or you're getting a chain of on-vessel modified events that's actually causing it. But check console log, see what you get. Yeah, I really should be doing an orbiter with better tech than this. Better solar tech, but I just don't have it. So So I guess we're going to do it this way. Okay. I really wish there were a solid that was about half the impulse of a baby sergeant. So no, Mr. Bond, that doesn't solve the problem. The problem is that this is not producing enough electricity. If I do that, I have not ended up producing any more electricity. I've just given myself more flexibility. Because the real problem is that this antenna is using up 26 watts, almost 27 watts. And in total, we're using up 35 watts because we do have a reasonable amount of sciencing going on. Yeah, if I had solar TL1, I would be in a much happier position. But I don't. Now see, if I am transmitting only half the time, then we're down to 22 watts. And that's much better because we're taking in 7.5 watts in both of these, so 15 watts, and we're using 22, so that's better. I mean, the issue there, like, I'm thinking of ways I can try to keep things broadly pointed at the sun. But the issue with that is that it's very dependent on when I launch. Because this thing is spin stabilized, so it's entirely determined by the insertion geometry. Oh, I actually do want them the other way around. That's right. I'm being dumb. Oops. Yeah, because we're going to fly backwards towards the moon. This requires that the moon, this requires that the near side of that we are launching during a full moon, basically. Which I guess I can arrange. I can just perform another mission while I'm waiting or something, or I can rush build or whatever. If I launch during a full moon, that means this end goes towards the moon. This end... Oh, no, except if I do a minimal energy transfer. The geometry is not like that. I come in. How is this going to work? If I do a minimal energy transfer, insertion will probably be yeah, I think this still holds broadly. Okay. So here is our lunar orbiter. Next, we need a lunar impactor. Okay. And that has a bunch of EC. And lunar impact, I believe, just requires 40 kilograms. So, orbit. And impact. Must be 40 kilograms, must have power. All right, so this thing is not going to be 40 kilograms. No, it is not. So we need to make it a little heavier. And the way we'll do that no impulse. All right, it is now 40 kilograms. And if I were min-maxing like Maximal, like he described, I would somehow decouple the avionics and just impact the moon with this thing with a science core to get my 40 kilograms. But instead we're going to do it like this. However, what this means is that we actually need some full 3-axis control on this thing. Why does that one look different from that one? That's confusing. RCS block quarter. And what's this? Restock RCS block quad mini 1. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay. So here's how this works. First, ooh, I wonder if this is genuinely hollow now. Looks like it. Yeah, I believe PAP made it genuinely hollow. So this looks kind of dopey, but I don't have a better alternative. Not without putting struts on, and struts are heavy. Alright, I probably could save a little bit without those retros, but I'm going to leave the retros on. I don't think we're that desperate for performance. Oh, yes we are. $2.4 tons. We have to put 2.4 tons in orbit. Yeah, this ain't happening. I mean, it's happening if I put a third LR-79 on the thing, I guess. But I really don't want to do that. So could I instead do this as a direct injection to the moon? Then I have a launch window once a month, give or take. No, twice a month. Yeah, I have a launch window twice a month. Yeah, that's kind of a showstopper. That said, I was really pretty close with that little launch vehicle I bunged together. So now that I have the engine upgrade, I might be able to make it work. Let's give it a shot. Let us give it a shot. Yeah, okay, that made no difference. Come on. Okay. So. Bye-bye boat tail. Okay. And the LR91, where are you? You are here. Let's try that again. Oh, right, I forgot. Yeah. All right, so our current specific impulse is 267. Yeah. Let's get something with a higher specific impulse. The engine for, I believe that's for, yeah, able to. Although Atlas able, that's worrying. Um, a little bit of extra delta V never hurt anybody. Let's look at its reliability. Yeah, I really should just fly a direct injection. That would make life much more reasonable. But it's not going to happen. Because I like having control. So this is less reliable. Which makes sense given the massive failure that Atlas Able was. So I'm not going to unlock that. I'm going to hold it in my back pocket because this is at almost maximum reliability. And I don't want to take chances. Anyway, let's... extend this out. 3 minutes sounds about right. Let us put little baby retros on it. So let's see, how heavy are these? Whoa, I really wish that test flight didn't do that. They are 6 kilograms, and these things are 16 kilograms, so yes. makes sense to use 4 of these. Okay, that'll work. So I'm basically unsure whether it's cheaper in terms of delta V to use SEP motors or to use to hot stage. It's more reliable to hot stage for sure, but hopefully 200 kilograms won't make too much of a difference. What does it cost anyway? Cost 6. Yeah, okay. Okay, let us hope that we can get by with the shroud rather than having to use a boat tail. Put those over there, and there you can go away. All right, so 2.438. base 3.048. Foot. Okay. And you get to be upgraded. Slightly worse performance, but an awful lot more thrust. Oh, not much more thrust, actually. $783. Yeah, not a lot more thrust, but enough. But I think the relevant bit is the fact that it's going to be more reliable. S3D. $88 to $97. $88 to $97. $81 to $95. It's less reliable than S3D? That seems wrong. I doubt that. Something is weird here. Oh, we're attached by that node, so we can't get rid of it. That's what's going on. Select mount. I think what I use is this. Yes. Oh, probably don't even need... Yeah, don't actually need that. Can just use the regular shroud. Yep, it'll just fit. All right. And you need to be shorter. By a lot. All right, and I guess let's make you common bulkhead. Which is weirdly listed as cryo, but that's okay. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That is 100% totally not going to happen. So, the options we're left with. I guess we get to make our Titan 1.5 once again. So oh, come on. I guess we'll do it that way. That's a little too tight. See if that's any better. Not really. Oh, that's bad. That's bad alignment for the gimbal thing. So I guess we do have to have them exhausting like that. All right, that'll do. Do not like, but that will do. Oh, now we're up to 162 tons. Power of thrust compels you. That is a Soviet level liftoff thrust weight ratio. So come on, you can do it. Or not. This can afford to be a little bigger too. Uh, 150 tons is my pad limit. Pretty sure the pad limit's 150 tons. Oh, the pad's not ready yet, but it will be. Um, mm, okay, basing it off the color scheme of Titan 1. Looking for some Saturn 1 pictures. Yeah, avionics is set for 150 tons. Um, there. Okay. Seems fine. We'll go with that. All right, we definitely have enough delta V. We have more than enough delta V. We have ludicrous quantity of delta V, which means that we can go to a reasonably high parking orbit. I mean, not that high, but something like 185 rather than 150. Can we get to 185? Probably. Not super sure. So this is like actually pretty correct, turns out. I'm not real sure what these things are. They look like they have... They look like they're broken. Huh. That's weird. We'll go with that. That sounds like you did not follow the installation guide, and in particular that you probably didn't downgrade to 1.10. Okay. That seems weird. Let's try to find maybe this will fit. Yeah, that fits pretty reasonably. Okay. Uh, Tyson, it doesn't work because they're set to no category, so therefore they don't come up. This is custom community category kit or whatever, making a category for them. They're actually set to category -1, so they don't show up elsewhere, and that's why you can't search. Oh, it's not quite long enough. Okay. Or you can just give them a reasonable category or something. And that'll probably fix it. I think this needs to be, yeah. Oh, that's right. That's perfect length. Okay. Oh, oops, except I have to, right. It won't auto-buy these things. And this was this, and then this. Okay. So that is exactly what everyone reports who's in 1.12. Um, so that's why I'm assuming you're in 1.12. Yeah. So this is why we keep asking if you followed the guide. The guide explains how to roll back. At least I think it does. It used to. Huh. Maybe it doesn't. You roll back by, in Steam, if you have the Steam version, you right click on it, choose properties on it, go to betas, and in the betas drop down you can choose the previous versions. And yeah, we need to add that to the guide if that's not in the guide. I could have sworn that was in the guide. This is a large swing arm. This is a much larger swing arm than... Yeah, for a small swing arm, this is a pretty big swing arm. So I guess we have to use these beam styles. Swing arms. Stop trolling, Tyson. Stop trolling. Okay. I think we're good. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting that's true. Swirl. That does make life easier. Okay. Let's see how this works. And then, oh geez, I gotta go to bed. Here we are. Let's see how this performs. Ascent guidance 185, although I am not convinced we'll have enough delta V to do that. .40. .6. Yeah, we'll leave the stop stage as it is. Yeah, so we'll have plenty of delta V, it looks like. Looking good. Roll program. Oh, I should have turned gimbal off on the center engine. I mean, it's no bad thing that I left gimbal on the center engine in case we have an engine out, but in reality, you'd have gimbal off on the center engine. Squirrel, yeah, Gemini used ejection seats. Okay. That was pretty clean. No complaints. Okay. Yeah, so that was one of Wally Schirra's many contributions to the space program. Was on the when they were sitting on the pad for Gemini 6A, 7A. They actually had a short or some minor error in Titan II GLV that was going to trigger an abort, and Wally hit the override "Do Not Abort" button on the console, and basically prevented him and his co-pilot from breaking their necks going out the window. Because, first of all, doubtful that they would have survived a pad abort anyway, just not having enough time for the chutes to open. But even if the chutes had miraculously opened, they probably would have broken their necks going out through the window, because the abort mode was the ejection seat launches you out through the Gemini's windows. Who was it on that flight? I think it was 6A. Tom Stafford, that's who was with him. So we've got a bunch of capacity on this thing. I would have really liked to have done it off a 2-engine core, but not going to happen. That's pretty circular for a high burnout thing with no RCS to clean us up. That's pretty circular indeed. All right. Oh, that's an interesting kick. Must have had some little kick from the colliders. Oh, I bet it's because, yeah, that tank, it probably hitting that or something silly. That's why I wish proc fairings didn't have colliders. That instance. All right, let's see how we do. Our electricity is 4924. Let's see what it is after an orbit. Absolute worst case. That was a lot of, yes, that was almost 700 kilojoules. Not great. Probably need to put more batteries in that thing to actually have a reasonable amount of coast. Interesting that it thinks that propellant is stable. I guess because we did some funky maneuvering. Squirrel probably like halfway through the second stage burn. So you totally can. You absolutely totally can. Here's how. So if you have auto stage turned on, which you presumably do, look at this post delay. What you want to do is set that to something like 20 seconds. But you want to do it after you actually stage the clamps and stuff. If you do that, that means PVG will wait 20 seconds after the last staging event before it fires the next staging event. Which means that when it stages your third stage to engage it, it will then wait 20 seconds before staging your abort tower. Okay. Yeah, back when I was flying crewed missions in the Rusty playthrough, I did that a few times. Usually I didn't bother because it'll screw you over the next time and you forgot it was on, and then you'll have a problem. But general, it's useful. I really want to hide these RCS quads somehow inside the interstage, but I mean the other solution is to make them T rather than full quad, triple. But actually being able to burn prograde and retrograde is pretty useful. So let's spin up. $90 feels about right. For a decoupler that applied notionally an impulse of 0, that did not feel very zeroed. Yeah, those orbits are very different now. That sucks. Now this thing, there we are. Craig, the base of what? And what pod? I'm confused what you mean. Oh, it got reset to 1. That's obnoxious. Alright, we'll do it that way. What was the other thing I was going to do? More battery. That's what I was going to do. Alright, that will give us enough battery for a 1-orbit coast capability. So yeah, we can do that, but the issue is that I want to hide the quad. I just don't want the quad sitting out here like that. But there's no real way to do that. I mean, other than like literally hiding the forward axis, which I guess I could do and then feel kind of silly about, but I guess it's worth it because I hate having exposed RCS. Really hate it. Yeah, Rudolph, again, apologies for Um, for pointing you at the guide about downgrading when the guide does in fact not say how to downgrade. All right, what else was I gonna fix on here? There's no way to make these things thinner, I think. Not really, no. Add an infinitesimal gap there and see if that helps. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Open coloring. Mount. Going to be white paint all the way around. That just looks kind of dopey. We'll leave it like that, even though it's incorrect. So in the guide, it tells you how to add the mechjeb dev repository to CCAN. Have you done that step? Okay, so I think we're ready to go here. Yeah, what you need to do is uninstall the mechjeb you currently have, then make sure under repository settings that you have the mechjeb dev repo in CCAN's repository settings, and the install guide will tell you how to do that. And then in CCAN again, search for mechjeb, and it should pop up with mechjeb dev as well. Okay, so now we're gonna pay the big old price tag. So engines, we have to unlock the LR91, which is expensive, 120k funds. Then this tooling is cheap. Oh, and our avionics. And probably we get away with better avionics than that? Let's find out. Yes. and that will give us even better performance. That's pretty cool. Okay. Oh yeah, and then I need to unlock small modular crew elevator top. Okay. Okay. It should cost 47. Yeah. Here we go. And just shy of 120 days. Oh, and it takes 7 days to roll out, too. What's still locked? Oh, the RCS quads. RCS quad. Probably could have gotten away with the 28s, but wait, did I unlock the wrong ones? I unlocked the wrong ones. Okay. Okay, so this was a building episode. But I'm happy with that launch vehicle. LC-14 will be done in a little bit. That will take a while to build. We still left with 33K funds, so we can rush build things if we need to. That's good. All right. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.